Hi there Booktube, it's Alana here, and as you may have noticed from the title, today I am doing another book haul. It's become apparent that I possibly have a bit of a problem, but I'm not ashamed. So let's get into the books that I've bought. I've actually titled this video Book Haul plus Sam Made Me Do It because I recently went to the UK Extravaganza in Birmingham, which was 34 authors, I believe, and they all talked to us about UK YA books that they'd written, and it was really exciting, and it was a last minute thing, and I went with Sam from Cold Tea And Crumbs. We caught up, it was really nice, and we decided we were going to pick a book for each other, a book that was maybe out of our comfort zone or something that we wanted to try and get more into, and the other one was going to try and find a book for us. As it turned out, I ended up picking up both of the books that Sam picked up for me because I thought they both looked good. I also picked up a trilogy by an author that was at the event, and I've also picked up some other books in the last week or so since my last book haul. So without further ado, let's get into the books. The first books are just books that I've bought because I've seen them around or they've come up cheap on my wish list recently. And the first is Alana, The First Adventure by Tamora Pierce, I think. I think this is maybe middle grade fantasy, but it just looks really fun and adventurous. It's about some twins, a boy and a girl, who they live in a world where you can do magic or become a knight, and boys are meant to go and become knights and girls are meant to go into magic, and they don't want to do that. They want to do the opposite, so they disguise themselves as boys or girls. So the girl disguises herself as a boy and the boy disguises himself as a girl, and they go to learn what they respectively want to, and I'm assuming that adventure ensues. Next up, we'll probably need no introduction, and that is These Are Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. We've been seeing this one around Booktube for months, possibly more than months, and it's a sort of YA love story set in space. Just sounded really good, and it came up recently for cheap, so I bought it. Next is a book that I picked up because Sanne from Books and Quills mentioned it in a video she did about film adaptations that are coming out soon, and I don't read many classics, but this one, once I watched her video, I went to look at the trailer for the film and it just sounds really good. I have actually read some Thomas Hardy when I was at school, but I can't for the life of me tell you what it was now. It was that long ago that I went to school. But that is Far From the Maddening Crowd, and I love this cover. I just think it's really, really pretty, and oh, they're so soft. And everyone always says that, but they're really soft. So I'm planning on reading this before the film comes out so I can then see the film. I believe it's about a working woman who has 3 different men that she's interested in, and they're from 3 different types of background. Maybe one's a farmer, one's in the army or something, and the other one might be like a landowner or a, you know, quite an upper class guy, I think, and it's just about her journey into discovering who she wants to be with, maybe. But it sounds good, and I'm going to give this one a good go. Next up, I was umming and ahhing whether I wanted to bother with, but I do want to go and see the film, and I hate going to see films if I haven't read the book, if there is obviously a book, if it's an adaptation. So I've picked it up because it was secondhand, it was cheap, and I'm hoping it'll just be a quick read, and that is The Daath by Cody Keplinger. So I don't think much needs to be said about this, but it's about the designated ugly fat friend and probably her transformation and falling in love, or possibly the hot guy falls in love with her or something. But you know, they're fun, they're mean girlish, and I just love these, you know, just really easy, fun, exciting reads that end happy. You know there's going to be a good ending, and that's all that matters. Oh, I've said that now, and what if there isn't? Oh. Well, we hope there's a happy ending, please. And then the next book has been doing its circuit on Booktuber sphere, and so why should I be any different and not get it? Although I hasten to add, it did sound good. I don't just pick them up, all of the books, or I really would have way more than I've got. But this one particular piqued my interest, and it's called New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson. I think this is sort of dystopian, maybe post-apocalyptic fight for survival, but I've heard quite a few people on Booktube that have read it, whose opinions I trust say how good it was, so I definitely wanted to give this one a go. And now on to the books that I bought while I was at UKYA. I'll start with the trilogy, which is from Janet Edwards, who was one of the authors that attended, and her book just really stood out to me. There was a couple of other authors there. Rose Mannering, who's also got a Booktube channel. I already own her Rose's book, so I didn't pick that one up while I was there. And also there was a few others that I think I've had books from, and a book that I'm possibly going to get by one of the authors that organised the event, because I thought it looked really interesting. But this trilogy really stood out to me, and it's book 1 is called Earth Girl, book 2 is called Earth Star, and book 3 is called Earth Flight. Now, the basic idea behind this first book, at least, is that it's set in a world where there's lots of worlds and everyone can jump between different worlds. However, 1 in 1,000 people has something wrong with their immune system where they can only survive on Earth, so they can't go to all the other worlds. And they're kind of outcasts, and they're shunned, and they're sent to live on Earth, and they're seen as sort of second-class citizens, I believe. And it's just about one girl's fight against persecution, maybe, and I don't know, I'm assuming fighting against her oppressors, I don't know, but that premise just sounded great. And also, once the author had spoken, when Janet Edwards was speaking, she mentioned that her inspiration was that she was quite ill for a long time and stuck in bed in her house, and she was thinking about how sort of, you know, horrible it is to be stuck in your house. And then she thought, well, what if, you know, the world was infinite and there were loads of planets, but you were stuck on this planet when everyone else could go everywhere else, and how frustrating that would be, and what sort of things might happen. And that was the original spark for her idea. So it just goes to show that sparks for ideas from books can just come from anywhere. And I really respect authors, because to be able to turn a thought or a feeling into a whole story, I think is phenomenal. And I really liked the idea of this story, so I picked up the whole trilogy, because I don't like to read a book and then not be able to read all of the others afterwards, which is a bit of a problem if you don't like the first book. But I don't think this is going to be a problem with this. I think I'm going to like it. So I know my tastes well enough by now. I'm an old lady, so I think this is going to be a good trilogy. And then finally, the 2 books that I picked up that Sam delved out for me. So we gave each other an idea of what we might want, and I said to Sam that I was looking for some more sci-fi and fantasy books, something that wasn't on the radar of everyone on Booktube possibly, or hadn't been talked about a lot, and I just wanted to try something a bit different. So she's picked me up 2 books, and they were in the sci-fi and fantasy section. However, some of them read, or one of them especially, reads perhaps a little bit like it might be YA sci-fi fantasy, but I don't know how they categorise them in Waterstones, so I have no idea. But the first one is called No Life But This by Anna Sheehan. I really like the front cover of this one, and this just sounded like a really interesting premise. So basically, this is about a girl who's been lying in deep sleep for 62 years, and she is the heiress to an interplanetary empire, and it's about politics, it's about the empire that she has to take over, it's about what's happened, the corruption, it's also about her relationship with her best friend, and she has the power to save her best friend's life, and she has to make decisions between what she needs to do for her status and also what she wants to do for her friendship. And then the second one is more sci-fi, I believe, or I think, and that is 400 Billion Stars by Paul Macaulay. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the premise of this one justice, so I'm going to read you the back. Thanks to the empathic talent she never wanted or cared for, Dorothy Yoshida has been dropped onto an alien world to unlock a crucial puzzle. She's been sent to investigate some unusual signs manifested by the small planet, for the world is more than it seems. In fact, the scientists are beginning to suspect it has artificially altered. But despite their suspicions, the only life they can detect on the surface, and none of it has advanced far above the level of animals. And though mankind hopes to find something to help in their burgeoning war against other species, there doesn't look to be anything there to aid them. Dorothy's arrival is going to change all that. So I have no idea. I'm sure possibly this person is... This author looks to have written quite a number of books, so maybe someone that the sci-fi community knows more than I do, but I'm definitely interested to give it a go. Something a bit new and a bit different, and something I haven't heard of before, so I'm always looking for books like that. So thank you, Sam, from Cold Tea and Crumbs, for picking this out for me. And yeah, so that's my book haul that was totally unneeded, but I wanted, and I enjoyed picking the books, and I will surely enjoy reading them at some point. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you've read any of these, especially the ones that I mentioned from UKYA and the two that Sam picked, because I'll be interested to hear if anyone's read them and what their thoughts were on them. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye for now, Booktube.